So when we start with the requirements, we want to know what is it that we're trying to do. So if you're in communication with a protocol team, say Aave or Uniswap, they may already know what they want to scan for. They may already know, here are the events that would be a big problem for us, or here are the events that we want to know about when they happen, as soon as they happen. So the protocol team may provide that directly to you if you have a line to them, or maybe you can propose some to the protocol, something that you're familiar with based on a previous exploit or some other thing, some other quirk of the protocol that you think would be interesting or important to monitor. There are some common tasks that basically all of the protocols are going to have that you could kind of make a generic agent and kind of do like a Mad Lib style fill in the blank for that. So these contracts are owned by somebody, either an admin, a governor, an owner, however it's labeled. And those owners or those admins are going to be able to perform functions on those contracts that other people aren't. So changing the ownership of the contract, maybe changing the fee rate of a contract. You're going to want to know when those happen. Those are important, especially if somehow somebody got your private key and is causing things to occur that shouldn't be. We want to know about the externally owned addresses for a protocol, and are they performing transactions outside of what we expect? Are they doing more than deploying just contracts for their protocol? And if they are, what are they doing? So that's going to be common across all protocols. If there are these large changes in value, so did somebody suddenly drain $30 million from a Uniswap pool? That's an important thing. We're going to want to know about that. Pretty much everyone participating in DeFi is going to want to know about that. And then there are some function calls, maybe some low-level function calls that don't spit out these events, that don't emit these events. But are critical nonetheless. You're going to want to know when those occur. And those are going to be common across all of these protocols that we're talking about. And then depending on the complexity of a protocol, they may want something like, they may want to identify when a liquidation opportunity exists. They may want to identify when there's an arbitrage opportunity. And so really kind of developing bots. So Forta allows that capability where you can have effectively a bot running as an agent to trigger on these and raise alerts like, hey, these values are getting kind of out of whack. There's a good opportunity here, or maybe something's going wrong with the protocol because that shouldn't exist. And then price oracles. There are far too many exploits that have to do with price oracles. So just critical to monitor that and spit out an alert if something funny is going on there. This is a checklist that we have before we even start putting kind of pen to paper, right? Before we start writing those agents and the code, you really need to understand what the requirements are. And this can take a while if it's a pretty complicated protocol, but it's well worth it because it will save you so much time when you actually develop that agent. There are a wealth of resources for protocols out there. I encourage you to find the developer documentation links, find the documentation links on all of these protocols, find their GitHub pages, any NPM packages, document all of this and keep it in a central location so you can refer back to it as you're making the agent. It will save you so much time and you'll be glad you did it. There's also this registry that a lot of these protocols participate in called Everest. It's good to look up that ID and include that as something you submit when you raise an alert. That really helps people drill down to, okay, who does this alert apply to, and how can I dig in a little deeper? You're going to want to identify all the contracts that are in scope. What is covered by this agent? And you're going to want those addresses. Externally owned addresses, keep track of those as well. That may come in handy for some of these transactions where they shouldn't be doing something, but they are. For deployed networks right now, Forta supports Ethereum mainnet, but they are absolutely focusing, and I'll get into a little more detail on it, they're absolutely focusing on extending that to other chains. I've mentioned Avalanche here as well, but certainly in the future, you can imagine Polygon and any others that are out there. But know what network you're going to be scanning. And then, has the protocol requested a private alert? Is there something that if it were broadcast to the world would really cause a problem? And if so, how can we keep those alerts private? How can we obfuscate the code so that it's not trivial to just read through and see, oh, whenever this happens, I should probably throw all my money into this protocol, kind of YOLO, and see if I can make bank off it.